Welcome along to another episode of The Dressing Room.
Yes, looking forward to it, Tommy. I enjoyed the dressing room because I think we're allowed to be a little bit freer. We're among friends. You know what I
We're
mean?
among friends. We
It's
are. And we
it's
thank you all,
it,
our friends, for joining us. Really,
it's
really,
like
really
walking around
appreciate
your
it.
house in your jocks. You know what I mean? You just feel comfortable doing it. It's grand to be in here. From now on, we should do the dressing room in our jocks, just because we're at home.
Well, I'm not quite at home and I don't think it would be appropriate for me to wear my jocks where I am right now. But
Yeah,
anyway, listen, let's not get into that before I
they'd be
get chased
delighted
out of
with
here.
you. They'd be
Um,
delighted with you.
Listen, today we're going to go look at a few, reminisce on a few memories potentially of dealing with referees. Now, I'm going to
Yeah.
caveat this, okay, because I was never a captain, never, even on the under 12s, a captain of a team, never dealt with a referee, never spoke to a referee, stood on the wing my whole career. Never did. The only people I dealt with were the touch
And
judges.
yeah, of
And
course.
that was more them just shouting at me to get offside. Tell number 12 to go offside. I'm like, I can't, they don't talk to me. Like, I can't get. So
They're 80 meters away, sir.
and they don't listen to me, sir. It's just
Yeah,
me and you here, man. All right. So I don't have great, me and refs.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
I,
listen, you must have a right view
well,
because you were in the thick of it with a lot of referees at
Well,
stages.
I think it opens it up to the point. I think we're looking at the moment, Tyke Byrne just being announced as Munster's captain, and then Craig Casey stepping into that role. And it kind of spurred out of that, weren't we, with saying that some people are suited to leadership roles. And I think
Totally.
both of us would agree we're not. You know what I mean? In terms of genuinely, Tommy, it's you have to, that is a called a helicopter approach, but you've got to spot everything, don't you, if you're Skip. You
I've turned
turned
my
off
mic
your
off.
mic, my love.
Well, this is actually, I think this is something I've actually been thinking about, right? And obviously not thinking too deep about it
This
because it's
this
not going
this
to
is
be on the
quite
phone.
worrying. Come on,
But
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it,
Is this
it
going to be
is.
like, what would happen if you mixed, right, a Snickers, a packet of crisps? Go on.
What would be your go-to if you go to a shop? Actually, just out of interest.
At the moment, Star Bars. I can't get enough of Star
You
Bars, man.
said that before. It's so
Yeah,
weird.
it's like they're everywhere, man. They're on billboards and everything at the moment. Star
They
Bars are
are.
having a movement.
I love the snacks crisps.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I kind of
Why?
think, right?
Sorry, go back there. I don't think they're as tasty as they used to be. Maybe my taste buds have withered away.
I
But do
don't
you
know. I
remember
like
them
how
when?
they melt on your tongue almost. And I
Oh,
kind of
okay.
eat them by bits. I buy them on the motorway and they seem to last me ages.
What's the?
Them or McCoys because I break them up.
What about
uh,
skips? If that's the case, you know those ones that kind of dissolve.
yeah, kids love them. No, I'm not.
Yeah, they
They
feel like confession.
little bit.
Confession.
Yeah.
Prawn favored confession.
Body of Christ.
Sorry,
Going
jeez, we're
back to
going to
your
hell for that.
leadership,
My
and we're
mom's
meant to,
listening. Mom, I'm sorry.
we're absolutely merry. We're talking about leadership, right? Just on you saying about we're never captains, and you're right. Everyone always talks about like Paul O'Connell and Brian O'Driscoll and Rory Best and Johnny Sexton and all.
Mm.
I'm like, yes, they are wonderful leaders, but they were born to be like that. It's
Yeah,
not
they were.
fair. Like we were on the pitch too. You know, we played our part. Do you know what I mean?
Wow,
Like
wow, incredible.
surely we should get some kudos. Like you Paul O'Connell couldn't have been the player he was without you beside him.
Yeah,
You must have done something to help him. Like, do you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Where's the book on Donegal O'Callaghan?
And his leadership style. But
Yeah,
can I be legit, right? You're right. They are natural leaders and
yeah.
they are incredible at it. But I was always most impressed with what I would nearly call like the foot soldiers, the drivers, the standard bearers, like and the ones that jump out for me are the likes of Jerry Flannery, John Kelly, Ian Dowling. I know Jamie was in a leadership role in time, but it like before that himself, Cian Healy,
Took
those
no
guys.
shortcuts.
Yeah,
Absolutely. This is it. And there's no books on
Trimble.
them.
Yeah,
Trimble.
Trimby, man, Trimby.
What
It's just
rules were you looking at?
no, but I
When
could
Joe
follow.
Schmidt came along, he was a true he was because he knew he couldn't do
You're
anything
very tough
else.
on Trimby, man.
Van Trimby was well. Listen, Joe
I
taught him how to follow rules.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not just saying that I could follow Trimby. I knew that, you know what I mean. sorry, I'm going to be overly harsh, man. You'd X Factor fucking falling out your arse. You know what I mean? You could make something out of nothing. There was months of times that I was there. How I get up from scrums, man, and just look up and see you gone, and there. Oh, what a freebie!
Well, not I don't agree. Well, kind of. Anyway, listen, whatever about that, I
Here,
do. But I
take
want
the
to go back to
compliment,
what you're
Tommy.
saying. Is actually it's the foot soldiers, and there's
Yeah,
no books ever written about. There's nothing ever like a book written about how to be the perfect foot soldier. It's all about how to be the Paul O'Connell,
yeah,
and like people can't really become a Paulie. Do you know?
no,
I would have loved to be a Brian O'Driscoll or
yeah,
I think there's certain people are just built to
yeah,
lead and don't give a fuck what people are saying around them. They just, they have that aura about them, and
yeah.
we just didn't have it. So there
No, we
should be books
didn't.
on
But
us instead.
then, like, I actually think the environment is fueled by those people. Like, I remember Ian Dowling, like, when we were bubbling along with Munster, Dowling was like a cheerleader for training standards, if you know what I mean. He would go around and he'd be in your ear. And you know the way there's some days there, you're down the college farm, you know what I mean? It's November, it's pissing rain, it's freezing, and Dowling's there to you. How good are we going to be today, man? He's pumping the energy around
Yeah.
the place, being like this energy bunny. And in your head, you're there like, go away, man, don't be annoying me. But then finishing chatting to him, you're there like, I'm gonna go for him. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Here I
And he
go. Yeah,
sprints out onto the pitch, kicks, flicks the ball up, and he's away. And you're like, that's the
yeah,
sort of energy I need.
a
You
hundred
chase after
percent.
him then. Yeah,
Yeah,
big time.
but then I always thought those were selfless acts, right? Because I do think you need to protect your leaders. We chat about the Rorys, the Pauls, the Johnnies, the Dricos. They've enough shit going on.
Mm,
They're actually they're even dealing with stuff. You know what I mean? Off pitch
that we don't even know
involvement.
about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. No, but they're in that kind of level. And if Drico was wasting his time pumping the wheels to get guys ready for
Mm,
training, then we're all sunk, you know. And
yeah.
I always thought we were lucky in the environments we were in, Tommy, that we'd good foot soldiers, man. The best for me is John Kelly with Munster, man. Oh my goodness. Like if John Kelly, I'd walk on glass for that man. He's
I would have always
unbelievable.
said Isaac Boss. Isaac Boss was
There you
one
go.
was that person. Man, he would first person in like before it became a thing going around. He would shake everybody's hand, fist pump, whatever else. Hey bro, to
Yeah.
everybody in the place. He would be going out in the coldest weather in a vest and shorts, and he'd be like full of
Yeah.
enthusiasm, like this dog just sprinting around the happiest ever. And you just feed off that intensity. Never took a backward step, was always leading, and never took any shortcuts. And listen, those guys, probably more important they are than the
They're
leaders.
invaluable. They
Yeah,
really are,
yeah.
because they protect the leader. They leave the leader just worry about top line message. But you're right on Bossy there. Like he was infectious, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like being around him, you got this unbelievable buzz. And then like he'd always back it up as well. He's a bit of a weirdo though. Remember, he used to just the eating sachets of butter. Remember
Yeah,
he like
I know.
he he.
He was. And remember he grew the dreadlocks out the back and
Oh
just a
yeah,
mullet and dreadlocks. But yeah,
yeah.
he used to like stick a fork into the little sachets of butter and just squeeze it and eat it.
Squeeze them. Or he'd put some in his pocket for a little snack for later.
Yeah,
It was like his little
yeah.
fix of butter.
He
And
was
didn't
so
he remember,
weirdo.
remember there one time we were in camp and we'd all do the same thing on the day off. We'd all go to the cinema or you know what I mean? Or
Yeah,
whatever. And boss he'd rent a car and go to, the
God
Cliffs of
knows
Moher.
where. Oh
Yeah,
man,
and we're
he's
all there.
unreal.
And he was like, oh, what a brilliant day I had yesterday. And we were there. Yeah, we saw Batman 12.
And it was like, no, man, what did this climate? They were like, Jesus, give it a rest,
Yeah,
posse.
exactly.
Enough of
Shut
your
up, bossy.
enthusiasm. We've had enough
But
of it on the pitch.
the thing about him though, genuinely, right? If someone didn't like Bossy, you'd question him, wouldn't you? You'd be
Ah,
like,
yeah, totally.
they're
Yeah, yeah.
they're a bit off. It's a bit
There's
like
something not
John
right.
Hayes. If John Hayes doesn't like you, you're an asshole.
Jesus, I don't know what John is. He's right ignorant fucker to me sometimes.
Actually, I just thought John Hayes doesn't like you. He's right.
No,
You are an
he
asshole,
doesn't
but
like many. Well, it leads on to where we were meant to be talking about referees a little bit because
okay.
I'd say there's times for them. Like they have to be the people that bring the energy, running out there, knowing that
Mm.
they're going to be abused, getting a tough time, going into the change room. Like I used to have that, some days, and it's just you're in Newport and the change room
Yeah,
is about the size of
tiny.
like the downstairs toilet, and you're all trying
Mm,
to get changed on top of each other, and the
yeah,
referee
it's
comes in
tough.
with his assistants and he's there. Like, do they check the studs anymore?
Ooh,
Remember they
I'm
used to
not
go
too
down?
sure. Yeah, I remember that. Stud check, lads, and you'd all have to show them.
I
Oh, here
know.
you go. And then you'd show the boots you're not wearing because you 21's in because you want to look after your tight head.
So what
Look,
was it? 21s or 21 mils, is it?
millimeters, either 18, which were legal, or then 21s that were illegal. Like,
Oh,
who's
really?
going to fall out about 3 millimeters?
And why would you be? They hardly have the ruler for that, do they?
No, no, but you
They
can
just
just,
know.
you know, by the look of them. Yeah,
And is
definitely.
that for scrummaging?
Well, I would have found it handy for scrummaging, definitely.
Would
Yeah,
you have
it like
worn 21s?
I would definitely, if I was behind a tight head, I definitely would have worn 21s. If I was behind Marcus Horn, I would have worn slippers. Sorry, puppy. You don't get that joke. It means that I'm easy to go back, you fucking flute. You know nothing about the front five of a rugby match.
I'm just more interested. Who's puppy? Marcus?
Marcus Horn, yeah. He
I
he
mean,
was puppy
between
because
toaster head and now puppy, right?
Marcus was puppy because he got a bang in the nose in a Shannon match and he got two big black eyes and it seemed to hang around for like 2 years where he had this kind of like, those kind of puppy eyes. Sorry,
I
stupid
just
name.
thought he was tired. Yeah, well, so the referee's coming right, and you just have to check that. Like, I kind of see going checking the studs now as a little bit like in the airport or in the airplane, where they show you how to fasten the seatbelt. I'm like,
Yeah,
who
yeah,
doesn't
that's
know how
true.
to fasten the seatbelt
Yeah.
nowadays?
It's like that, the meme of the guy security checking people before the football match where he's just like rubbing his hands.
Gone, gone,
Yeah,
gone.
yeah, yeah, true.
Um,
That is a waste of time. Actually, probably players probably don't wear as many studs. Well, backs certainly don't. Remember Rala? We used to all get our kit and we'd polish our boots the night before matches. And Rala stopped doing it because of all the different color boots. Sorry, he didn't know what to do with all the different color boots. He was there like, you can't get an orange or yellow or pink polish. You know what I mean? So they're
right,
just coming in to clean their boots. Whereas before there used to be dubbing and proper polish and there's a good
exactly.
smell in his room.
I mean, there was a whole respect, but you used to have boots and they used to last so long at that stage.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
that's
mean?
true.
Like, nowadays, lads are just they get free boots and just
And
throw them
they're
out.
Yeah, don't look at us turning into those two fellas. Back in our day, you'd have a
Now, well,
boot that would last you.
I remember at one stage, Dars was with Puma and he wore a new pair of boots every game.
No
How
way.
how bougie is that? I mean,
That is
honestly,
incredible.
this
Do you
is
remember the kind
Dars
of
who
unwritten
had like,
rule of if you were lucky enough to kind of get boots, you always kind of left a few in the room for the younger lads? You know what I mean?
oh yeah, did you?
You tight.
Oh yeah, I did that. All right.
Yeah.
Remember, Dars had boots and one had South and the other said Side on it.
Ah, brilliant. He
And he's
also
from
had the
Wicklow, like
frames.
he's not even from Dublin.
Didn't didn't he had the frames or something? He had a band written on at one time too.
I
Because he
I
was
just
really into
remember
their
the
music.
frame probably, yeah. I get that
Ah,
embroidered on one of his pairs of boots, and he literally used to wear them for one game and then lob them into the bin. How
into the
ridiculous!
bin, man. Oh,
Oh
you
man,
think you'd give
honestly,
them? Imagine some young fella getting
I
Gordon
know.
Darcy's boots.
Yeah, Dars is a dick though. He wouldn't do that.
The thing is,
uh,
you're right though. Can I tell you? I was having a bit of trouble, Tommy, that I was getting pinged off the park, and I remember it all kind of came to a
which
head
time
after
now?
in 2005 when I got sin bin that time. I remember I was there. I have to find a way of being better here. And I sat down with Dave McHugh, the ref,
Oh yeah.
Dave McHugh, yeah. And one of the big takeaways from him, because he rang around and did a little bit of work and tried to look into stuff for me. But he
Wow.
was there. One of the major problems with you is the dressing room before the match. They all think you're a nutter.
Oh
Just
yeah.
the way you're behaving in there, the way you don't come over and say hello, the way you're doing ridiculous stuff on the floor and stuff like that. He was there like, I think it'll be worth your while when the manager calls in the referee that you go over, shake hands, say how's it going, have a little bit of small talk, and come away. And
Yeah. Because you were a bit of a lunatic in the change. Like you
oh
were
yeah,
gearing yourself up for, weren't you? Like geeing
yeah,
everybody up in there. Like you were.
yeah, but
Did you ever headbutt a wall?
No, I didn't. Look at you making up stories. But yeah, like, because I look back at, there's some of the footage of, and the big one is Paulie with the fear of God line,
Yeah.
and like when you're sitting on your ass and on your couch, it seems ridiculous, doesn't it? You're there like, oh my God, this is awful. But when you're just about to go out for kickoff, if he's not doing that, I'm there
Yeah.
like, you need to hit an emotional pitch to get ready to go. I felt
Well,
always.
I don't think they do anymore, though. I think that's all
I'd love
gone,
to
the
be
whole
like
emotion
that.
of it.
I'd
And
love to be like that.
I remember one time being in the changing room, and I think it was with the Ospreys, and I think it was John Thomas, but anyway, we were all gearing up, and everyone's in the huddle or whatever else. And JT was standing underneath the frame of like the partition between the showers and the
Oh,
dressing room. And he's like, "Come on, boys!" And like jumped up into the and literally smashed his head on the bottom of the wall,
no.
KO'd himself. He was,
Brilliant.
he was
He's
done.
following the return to play
Oh,
from
jeez.
the.
Man, he was done. Like, he
Oh,
was
wow.
KO'd, like, couldn't play, I don't think so. Yeah, I think it was anyway, I
Ah,
just remember being in the huddle looking across going, like, I couldn't,
those.
like, do you know the way you get to that level where I'm there reading the newspaper and I
Yeah,
look
yeah.
across and laughing at him? Yeah, I didn't get that. Remember, like, Vickery even, like, in the change room with the Lions, man, he's headbutting the opposition
Oh,
or
geez, I'd
headbutting.
hate that. I'd hate an old headbutt before you even go
Yeah,
out. But there is funny moments like that, isn't there? When people do. Like, I remember John Fogarty, who's obviously legend in terms of his coaching ability, gone off on the lines. But when he played with us with Con, like, he is an awful messer, and
yeah,
a bit like you, he saw the dressing room as an opportunity to have a bit of crack. So he'd say to me on the kind of Thursday, he'd be in for Frankie Sheehan playing hooker, and normally he'd play seven if we weren't. He was unbelievable player both as a hooker or a seven. But Frankie
right,
was out for a while, and Foggs was going in hooking. But he was there like, I'm gonna quote Braveheart in the dressing room. And I'm there like, what? He was there before the match. I'm gonna make a William Wallace bit of a speech, see if he can cop it. And like, you'd forget about it then, and then 10 minutes or 5 minutes before kickoff, you'd hear Foggs giving it the lads. You've bled with Frankie for years. Will you bleed with me? And like, and you could see the lads buying in, kind of giving it the, yeah, Foggs, we got your back. And then he's winking over at me, kind of like, freedom. I'm there like this, but then there's fellas buying into it as well, kind of going, great line, Fogs.
I love that. I love that. It's so good.
Yeah, yeah,
Go on. Do you have any kind of so like that's class with Dave actually, to be fair, and kind of giving you that bit of a heads up and
yeah.
did it work? Not
Yeah,
really.
I think it did. It definitely did. It's just all little behaviors, isn't it? And realizing, like, there's refs you got on better with and you
Yeah.
were more comfortable around. But Joel Juice, remember the
Yeah.
French ref? No, that's in charge of. Is he in
World.
charge?
Yeah. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
kind of one of the top boys. Yeah.
But I remember before the game, in one of the matches, this is he was there. I want before the match. He was there. I
Absolute.
want you calm and composed today. To me, and like straight away, I was like, "Whoa, yes, I hear you, sir." Like you, but I remember O'Connell took exception. Paulie was there. Hold on a second, like we haven't even stepped out on the pitch. You know what I mean? You can't have a preconceived idea about
Yeah.
him. But I suppose that's probably what happens with referees, which is human. You do come up with perceptions of people that, you know what I mean? He would have thought, yeah, this fella's a firecracker. I need to
But
get
you
on him
were
good.
like that was your style.
Yeah, I
Like
was.
there must have been referees that hammered you, like that
Oh,
didn't
Wayne
like it.
Barnes, man. Wayne Barnes every time. Yeah, yeah.
Why?
Oh, just probably that. Yeah, yeah. Like I remember we played with Worcester against, oh, who was it? Jeez, I think it was Northampton, and what I felt was a forward pass scored in the corner, and I was kind of, to be fair, I was shouting at the ref to, you know what I mean? That's forward, sir. That is forward. I no, it was club captain, and I thought it was a good place to do it. Now, to be fair, it was disgraceful in the fact that I continued as, you know what I mean. They ran it in. I kept giving it to him, and it just led to this kind of awkward moment. And that would have been a kind of younger ref. But I remember the following week we had Leicester in six ways, and Wayne Barnes was ref, and I could just tell he was going to do me. You know that way, double yellow equal to a red. Off I go.
Really?
One for not rolling away, one for bringing down a maul where it could have been any one of us. So
He was
to be
after
fair,
you.
yeah, I always look. I know he's well received and stuff, but I genuinely hated when he refed us. I would rather genuinely, I'd rather play Wales than have Nigel Owens refing. Or I just found him really hard to
Yeah.
manage. Not manage. That's wrong for me to say, but I just we didn't hit it off, man. I just thought he was, and then socially great. You know what I mean? Away from it, which was
Yeah.
frustrating again.
He was definitely a referee that at times you look back and you're kind of thinking, like, yeah, he was almost trying to be antagonized, or almost, I don't know. Sometimes, even I felt that with Knight. Sometimes it was nearly trying to be your mate as well, going, "Ah, chin up, Tommy, penalty against you, or you didn't run away." And I'm like, I don't like piss
Yeah.
off, man. This
Yeah, yeah.
and like, and
Now
I
there's a
and
fine balance, isn't there? You know what I mean?
well, then yes, exactly, because then all of a sudden you're kind of like, well, actually, I want to have that. Like, it's a really tricky. I would hate to be a referee. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
credit to
agreed.
them, man. It's amazing, like the guys who do it. And I think for the likes of Wayne Barnes, the abuse that he's had over the years, and as you say, maybe he did bring it on himself at times in certain ways. I don't know how, but he wouldn't have been flavor of the month with a lot of the teams he was reffing against.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And look, we're not saying any of that should go on. You know what I mean? Like, I
No,
think one thing that we're both quite passionate on is the respect factor for referees, and that it kind
totally.
of
Yeah,
stays in, and that, you know what I mean, that when you hear of stuff like that, it does actually make you really sad. But you're trying to manage relationships as well, and I just thought I'd a poor one with him, and I honestly I would dread when they'd go, okay, ref in Wayne Barnes for Saturday, lads. I'd be like, oh shit, you
do you
know.
know what? Did you ever see them out socially?
Yeah, yeah, and this is what I'm trying to say to you. Then I'd get on really well, you know what I mean? And that actually even frustrated me more because you were wondering which bit's fake, you know?
I'd love it. Would always happen on like the tours down under. You'd be in New
Mm.
Zealand or Australia and whatever else. And you'd be out having a few beers. And obviously you could be in somewhere like Rotorua. So there's
Yeah,
not really many bars there.
yeah.
And of course, these refs they're over for a bit of good crack as well. They've obviously refereed a big game. There's the three or five of them kind of as a team all heading out. And I remember going to a nightclub one night and seeing Roman Poit with his top off in the middle, in the middle of a nightclub, and he's there, and Roman Poit, like this French, like he looks like a school teacher almost,
Oh,
and he
wow.
was there. I think he had like a tattoo on his chest. I mean,
Of
it was
course he did.
not what I was expecting. In the middle of this nightclub, giving it stacks with the top
Brilliant.
off, go oosh, oosh, and we're so
Amazing.
I know we have a picture of him, and we're all like all over each other, and he literally just refed us, or he was on the touch judge or whatever else. It's like Roman Poit's over there.
That is so good.
Same. I remember we were in Japan, and this is going back a long, long time. And
Oh, the
Nigel
Saki.
Whitehouse, I think, was there,
Oh,
and
what a
there
man.
was a couple
Now there's proper old school. You know what I
proper
mean?
old
Yeah,
school, and there was a
brilliant.
couple of. Oh, I think maybe Nigel Owens was there as well. I think it was maybe his first cap as a ref. We were all in this bar drinking sake. I mean, like
Yeah,
I don't know if the players get to do that anymore with the referees,
no.
but back then, geez, you could,
Oh, it was great.
you'd bump into these guys and you see them in a completely different context to being on the pitch where
Yeah.
you're having a yes sir, no sir, three bags full sir, and it was just great to actually have a
I
beer with
actually,
them. And then a couple of years later, or a couple of weeks later, or months later, you'd see them in the dressing room and up in Belfast, and you get there's just
yeah.
they're there with the job on, and I'm there with the job on. But we're both looking at each other and go, let's
What
not
night.
talk about that.
But I actually, Tommy, I think that's so important and needs to be protected. I think that is actually a lovely thing. If we like, you know what I mean? Of course, hands up,
Yeah,
respect for the ref and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to be overly harsh on Wayne Barnes. Like, to be fair, what I always found with him, to the letter of the law, he was absolutely always spot on and bang on. I question sometimes his spirit of it. You know, that kind
yeah,
of like he no problem doing you know. Whereas sometimes, like I told you that before about Nigel Owens running across the pitch and covering his mic and saying, "I see you going in the back of the lineup behind the jumper. Don't do it again." And then you know what I mean. And you're like, if like the cop on to take it, whereas Barnes would spot it and just do you, which is,
Yeah.
look, that's the rule, that's the law. He's right,
And
you
to be
know?
fair to Wayne, he had no harm make. Exactly as you say, he'd do like in crucial stages of matches, he had no problem making the tough decision. And sometimes he got it right, sometimes he got it wrong. And
Yeah.
that must have been very difficult as him, if looking back on it, he got it wrong and it had a huge impact. Like I even just think about it in '09. Remember Paddy
Ah,
Wallace come
Paddy
on,
Wallace. But yeah, like,
poached it. But actually, if so, Paddy for his testimonial, and he because Wayne Barnes actually got in touch with Paddy and said, "Listen, mate, I'm really sorry. I actually got that wrong. You were
no.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You were right
Wow.
there." And like Paddy wouldn't have been welcome back in Ireland again
Oh man, I
if
remember seeing his face. But this is an awful thing to say, but in that moment, right? I remember because I was under that, but I was in that.
Mhm.
I was there, like, please don't be four. You know what I mean? All I was praying is, don't have the, don't.
Yeah,
And he was there, like Paddy. I was there. Oh, thank God, this is all on wall.
because this is
Which is
like
awful.
first Six Nations Grand Slam in 61 years, and Paddy comes on off the bench, Ulster player who probably didn't have the media 100% on his side
Oh
as
wow,
well.
I like what you're implying here. Go
No,
on, the
listen,
chips.
it's absolutely true, and Paddy would have said that as well.
What a
And it
player, man.
came on and tried to have an impact. Went in for
Yeah.
the poach, and looking back on it, Wayne Barnes has got in touch with him and said, "Listen, mate, you were actually right there." But
Wow, I
Wayne
didn't know
pinged
that.
him final minute of the game, and Stephen Jones had that opportunity to get the kick. If Stephen Jones had a kicked that, we would have still won the Six Nations, but we would have missed out in the Grand Slam. And I don't know if the players or Paddy. And Paddy actually says that even though we got it and we won for months and months
Yeah,
after,
scarred him.
he would wake up in a cold sweat.
Yeah,
Just like it really triggered it and it
yeah.
really impacted him
Oh
massively.
yeah, I can imagine. Like, you don't know how much work goes into it, and those
No.
moments, you're right. Like, they're scarring. Like, Tommy, I've told you before. Like, there isn't a day in my life that I don't think about Crow Park 2009 against
Yeah.
Leinster. I think about that. Like, and that's Paddy with that Millennium Stadium that time. You know, it's just one of those ones that you're like, wow. But I didn't know that Wayne had rang him to say it was. You know what I mean? It was incorrect call. The interesting thing about that was Gavin Henson was on the pitch, man, fresh. He like, with a rocket launcher of a book, like a boot, sorry. Whereas,
Right?
yeah, I wonder if they'd thrown the ball over to him, could it have all been so different, you know?
Um, I'm trying to look up something here as well because this really wrecks me as well. Is that every time Ireland play against Wales, I get a fucking picture on social
Go on,
media
Mike Phillips.
from Mike Phillips handing me off in the corner as he
Brilliant.
scored that try in the two.
Didn't he make it his own birthday card at one
Yeah,
point?
BBC. I was at BBC working for them, and they sent they print. They got a birthday cake for me to say happy birthday, and on the top of the birthday cake was a picture of Philsy handing me off with a video
Ah,
from Mike
nice.
going chin up, mate. Right. So
Brilliant.
this
You
is
you
from
cutting it there in front of Martin Johnson.
the Six Nations. Exactly. Who had no interest in talking to me. Six Nations
He's never
2011.
a cake.
Ireland to receive apology for the Wales try that wasn't. So this is the one where the ball got kicked into touch. The ball
Let
wasn't.
this go, man. Let this go.
Jonathan Kaplan was the referee, and
Yeah.
Peter Allen, the Scottish touch judge, was on the side. And listen, Peter, good luck to you, and we can move on from this. But it's still, this has come back to harm me forever. So Peter Allen said, "Yeah, it's the same ball." When Jonathan Kaplan is that the same ball? He said, "Yes, it is," and it shouldn't have been allowed. And these are the impacts. So I wonder if Peter, for instance, and I doubt this really, it comes back to bite him too often. But I wonder if there are for referees, if there's anything that lingers, a little bit like what you say, that Leinster match in
Yeah.
'09, they
Yeah.
must
Yeah.
have
And
so many of memories where they kind of go, oh, fuck, I wish I could go back
yeah.
there
Yeah.
and redo that again.
But the thing is, though, Tommy, like, I worry, and we thought about it so much with TMOs and different things. I hope we never undermine them. You know what I mean? Like, I know this sounds nuts, but none of us ever felt aggrieved by the kneel back hand. Of course, the supporters get odd about it, but like, all we saw in that moment is he'll do anything. He'll fucking cheat to
Oh,
win. You
yeah.
know what I mean? The John O'Neill try in the corner. You know what I mean? Even last season, like Munster being the worst ref team in the league, like you're playing with 13 men because photo officials are fucking running around with
Because
their heads up their ass.
their discipline is so fucking bad.
No, man. But like you look, even at Stormers, us, and you know what I mean, having to go with 13. Like, jeez, yeah, they just. Sorry,
It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what Clayton McMillan does this year, anyway. But right. So you hate Wayne Barnes. So we're coming to the end of that.
hate is strong. Hate is strong.
Did you have a favorite referee then?
Nigel. I genuinely,
Did you? Oh,
yeah,
I
I
hated
thought
when
he was.
Nigel was refereeing us.
Did you?
Again, he like, you know, I just think sometimes, particularly when you're with the Ospreys, he loved pissing us off. He loved the kind of the Welsh players and kind of giving a decision against you. And yeah, I don't know. Great
That
referee.
bit, I thought what his superpower was exactly that compassion for the game. I know this, not leave something go, but just to kind of orchestrate it that it didn't become the most important thing. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. I like a referee that lets the game go, which he did, but it's not about the referee. And sometimes he kind of made it a
I
little
just
bit
think
about
he's
him.
too much of a character for him not to be
He
about him.
was. Yeah.
Yeah,
He was
very
class.
funny, man. He's very
Great
funny.
referee.
Yeah.
Great referee. But I'd like to see more former players getting into referee nowadays. Remember,
True.
like Glenn Jackson did,
Yeah,
Frank Murphy. Yeah, we need more and more
If
players.
Frank Murphy, stops brushing his hair and playing tennis, that's all that fucker's at the moment.
Okay, well, we didn't talk that many referee stories, but there's still plenty of stories there. I think we can probably go over this one again, actually, because there must be a mountain of the amount of things that we've interactions had with them over the years.
Yeah. But all good. Like, to be fair, Tommy, I think you nailed it there when you're on about the kind of socializing side of it. Nothing ever got carried on. Sure wasn't. You know,
No.
it was
I'd
never
love
those
that.
kind of moments.
It's the glint in the eye. When you go and see them back up in Belfast, you see them over in the Scarlets, and you're like, remember that night?
Yeah.
Remember that night?
Remember the 12 sackies we had?
Oh, geez, good times, really good
Brilliant.
times. Listen, thanks so much to everybody who has subscribed to the Offload. We really, really appreciate it. Tell your mates, please do. Get involved in the Offload. And as the season really starts to kick off now in the next couple of weeks, we're going to really up the ante with a lot of the stories and reminiscing and maybe even some more interviews.
Absolutely. In fact, one of them, Graham Close, I think this will be an interesting one for people in the dressing room. We're going to chat to Graham Close. He's an incredible nutritionist, spent time at Munster, but went on the Lions tour this summer. Incredible guy, unbelievable knowledge, spent an awful lot of time with jockeys, done it all in the game, and one, get his insight into this year's Lions tour, but also nutrition. So if you're in the dressing room and you have a question that you want to hear answered from one of the best in the business around nutrition, and we even had it here the other week, when do you start looking at creatine for younger athletes?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that. If you have any of these questions, do get them into us. We would love to put them to Closey.
And we'll definitely put them to them on next Friday's podcast. We might even, if we get enough questions through, we might even try and do a special one for just the Offload dressing room members as well. So do send through as many questions as you can. We'll put them to him next week as well. It's going to be really interesting. Look forward to that.
Even we need to get a ref on. We need to get Wayne on.
Oh, fuck's sake. Right, okay. We'll see.
I'll be
and Paddy
missing
Wallace
that day.
together.
Yeah, exactly. Poor old Hush Puppy.
Who's Hush Puppy? That's Paddy as well.
Wallace, yeah.
Is he? So Puppy is Marcus Horan and Hush Puppy is... You got them all now.
But do you remember before anyone like ever all we went around in was runners. Like no one... Remember Paddy had slippers in camp? He was such a little cozy hole, wasn't he?
He's with his moleskin fucking notepad, pretend he's all business.
He was also going around in these lined little Hush Puppy. I remember seeing him going, look at this. I'm beaut. Paddy, a beauty.
He's a beaut. Okay, listen, good man. Catch you later, Dunners.
Good on you, Tommy.